When you think of a neutral eyeshadow palette, do you think of boring or do you think of classic? I like to think that they're classic. I like to think that a neutral eyeshadow palette will never go out of style. Recently, one of my favorite human beings on this planet, Donna, over at the channel My New Obsession, dove into her eyeshadow palette collection and brought out her favorite boring AF palettes. Contrary to what my eyeshadow look is telling you today, I am a neutral palette lover. I have to consciously make myself use colorful eyeshadow palettes, where a neutral palette is just an automatic for me. It's what I reach for most of the time. It makes me feel put together. It makes me feel pretty. It's a no-brainer, definitely my comfort zone. Also, if you've been with me any length of time, you know I am a seasonal makeup wearer. The weather outside always influences what my eyeshadow look is going to look like that day. So I am going to be showing you my top 20, because I couldn't do any less than that, neutral eyeshadow palettes. Hi, I'm Andi. I'm really happy that you're here. I have these separated by cool neutrals, warm neutrals, and straight down the middle, neutrals, neutrals. Maybe they have a little bit of both in them. So we're going to start with cool neutrals. These are in no particular order. I'm not ranking them. I'm just showing them to you. And I'm going with the way that they're stacked. So the first one is the Morphe 9M. This is the Midnight Dune. This is their older formula, which is my favorite Morphe formula, is the older formula. You guys, I just don't care for the newer formula. It's just a me thing. But this is a beautiful, cooler neutral palette. It may look very down the middle neutral, but with my skin tone, this looks like a very cool toned palette. And sometimes I just want a basic, pretty shimmer. Even though I love metallics, duochromes, multichromes, I don't always need that. Sometimes I just want a pretty shimmer. And this palette has pretty shimmers. This shade right here, which I mostly use as a lid shade, is just a beautiful shimmer. And like, look at that. It is such a pretty, first of all, cool toned brown, but it's just a pretty lid shade. And you know, I can build several beautiful looks with this palette, even though it's only a 9-pan palette. Then we have the Mist Haven from Alter Ego. I just got this at the end of last year. I have used this so many times throughout the winter, and it is just a beautiful, cool, neutral palette. Yes, we have some of these mauves. Tell me, you guys, do you look at mauves as color or do you look at them as neutral? Because I wear mostly neutrals, when I wear mauves, which is also in my wheelhouse, I feel like I'm wearing a little bit of color. I don't know. But talk about shimmers in this palette. The Alter Ego shimmers are beautiful shimmers. The mattes are very blendable. They're pigmented. At the beginning of the year or end of last year, I can't remember, I did a reel with this palette and I just fell in love. The shimmers are very wet looking and they are just gorgeous. Now, I have not used this cream shadow, and I probably will not. I'm not a cream shadow person. I don't really love them. Maybe I would use it as a liner, but I don't really do that either. So I don't know that that one is going to be used. But the rest of them, I just love them. I think that this is a beautiful, cool toned palette. I got this for $12 at the end of the year. They had a Black Friday sale. Also, you guys, I have 10% off of Alter Ego. I have a code down below. It's always down below. But 10% off, you know, I used my own code. I did. I don't care. I'm going to use my own code. And I'm going to get 10% off. There are people that do not like dupe brands, but I think that there's a place for dupe brands. Not everybody can afford a $72 eyeshadow palette, nor do they want to spend that much on a eyeshadow palette. If I can buy an eyeshadow palette with a great formula for $12, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Another beautiful cool toned palette that I have, also pretty affordable, Cosmic Brushes, Cosmic Beauty Smolder palette. When they teased like the artwork on this palette, I'm like, oh, please let it be a beautiful, cool, neutral palette, because the cool trolls I'm not a fan of. There are certain shades in that don't make sense to my brain. While I am a neutral palette lover, I am also a very monochromatic palette lover. And when there are certain shades in palettes that to me don't make sense, it makes me not want to buy that palette. This palette for me was a no-brainer. Again, very beautiful, cool neutrals. These shimmers are freaking fantastic. I don't know how Cosmic does that, how they can make those beautiful shimmers and still make their palettes affordable. I have no idea, but I am a big fan of their formula. I only have one other Cosmic palette, and it's the Gothic, and it's all purples. And again, just a beautiful formula. The mattes are beautiful. The shimmers are freaking fantastic. So yes, that is, I am a fan. I am a huge fan of theirs. Next up, very, very, very cool toned palette is the Inslee Rain Cold Moon. Again, the mattes are beautiful. They are blendable. The shimmers are out of this world. They are such a beautiful shimmer formula. The duochromes, the multi-chromes in this palette, these shimmers are just in a league of their own. I love, look at that. The Inslee Rain formula to me is one of the best. Are they pricey? Absolutely, they are pricey. Their shipping is a little high, but they do ship with care. Everything that they pack is packed very, very thoughtfully. And I have never had any problems with their shipping at all. The last true cool tone palette that I have will not be a surprise to anyone because it is the Stone Cold Fox. This is my favorite palette of any palette that I own. I am trying to hit pan in every shade this year. And right now I am working on this shade right here. And I use this with almost every look that I do so that I can hit pan in it. And it's a great outer corner. But this formula is one of my favorite ColourPop formulas. I think the formula in their mega palettes is top tier. And this palette is 6 years old and it's still performing like it's brand new. At the end of the year, after I've hit pan in every shade, at least I'm going to try to, I will repurchase. I'm going to repurchase this palette because I don't ever want to be without it. And yes, she's filthy. She's dirty. She's 6 years old. It happens. It happens. It's very light colored packaging. And yeah, it's dirty. This is real life over here, guys. This is real life. All right, those are all my cool toned palettes. Let's go for, let's just do regular neutrals. Now, this is what, when I look at these palettes, I think just neutral because maybe there's warm and cools in here. So the first one of the neutrals is the Too Faced Natural Nudes. I got this one for $23. I think it's normally $55. I got it for $23. And then at the end of last year, they even had them for like, I think they were about 20. And this formula is beautiful. This is my only Too Faced palette, so I really don't have anything to compare it to, but I think it's a beautiful formula. I think the shimmers are basic shimmers, but they're pretty shimmers. And like I've said before, I think that there is room for just pretty and basic shimmers. And this is it. Like, this is such a beautiful palette, and I used this quite a bit in the winter time. Another alter ego palette that I have is the Daylight, and this is a dupe for the I Need a Nude from Natasha Denona. I love how they arrange their shades. Some of Natasha Denona palettes are kind of erratic to me, and I have actually gone through and rearranged them to make more sense to me. And I think that Alter Ego does a really great job of arranging their shades to make sense. And so this is one that has cool neutrals. It has some warm neutrals in it. And I'm pretty sure that I've done a reel with this one as well. Again, bought this at the end of the year, $12. You cannot go wrong with that at all. I think I might have one. I have one more Alter Ego palette in this video. I have a Natasha Denona palette. This is the Golden palette. I actually got this from Donna last year for my birthday. And while a lot of these shades lean warm, To me, this is just straight up neutral because there are shades in here that do look a little bit more cool toned on my eyes. This one right here, this shimmer up here, like to me, they are just straight down the middle neutral. And I love this palette. This palette is a beautiful palette. I have thought about rearranging this one, but I don't think I need to. I think that this one's laid out pretty good for my brain. So I do love this. I did not have the original gold palette that had a couple pops of teal in it. I know I'm wearing teal today, but teal is not one of my favorite shades to wear. And to me, that's not monochromatic. I love a monochromatic palette, and that is one of the best. I have the Lorac Meraki palette. One of my top 5, definitely neutral palettes. And this is another one. It has warms in it. It has cools in it. In my opinion, Lorac has a beautiful formula, but again, the shimmers are basic, but they are very, very pretty. They do have the wet look on the eye, which is one of my favorite things. I got that palette from Leanna many moons ago. I have 4 or 5 neutral palettes that I constantly rotate through because they are my favorites, and this is definitely one of those. But yeah, it's gorge. The next one is also one of my palettes that I rotate in and out. This is the Beauty Bay Neutral Palette. This is the 16 pan. You guys, last time I was on their site, I didn't see very many of the 16 pans. Are they getting rid of those? I hope not. But this is definitely one of my favorites, top 5 for sure. You can see that big pan right there. I was toying with the idea of hitting pan in every shade in this palette. Maybe I'll do that next year. Tell me what you think down below. But again, very pretty, beautiful shimmers. Their shimmer formula is also just a beautiful formula, but a little basic. Again, I'm fine with that. Next up is the Violet Voss Pro. This is the HG palette, Holy Grail palette, and this is definitely a Holy Grail. I got this from my friend Ash for either my birthday or Christmas many years ago. I don't even remember, but at least 4 years ago, maybe 5. But this is another one that I keep in constant rotation. It has cools, it has warms. A lot of these are warm leaning, but then you have these berry shades that are just absolutely gorgeous. I believe that BoxyCharm, back when BoxyCharm was BoxyCharm, had these in their box. So if you have this palette and you are neglecting it, take it out. Take it out and play with it because it's gorgeous. I love it. And then the last one of my straight down the middle neutral palettes is the Lunar Beauty Nude Prism. This is a classic palette. I have used this so many times. I got this one from Leanna too, actually. I think there are a couple shades in here that are a little repetitive, at least on the eye. They look a little repetitive, but I can do cool looks with this. I can do warm looks with this. I think that this is a beautiful romantic color story. It has these pinks in there. It has these rosy tone mattes in there. And this is definitely one of my top 5 as well. I'm pretty sure you're sick of hearing, oh, this is in my top 5. Well, it actually is. It is. And then the biggest category that I have here, which kind of surprises me a little bit because I always say that I am a cool neutral lover, which I am, but I have more warm neutral palettes in here than I do cool neutral palettes. I have 8. So the first one is the Revolution Batman palette. I am not a huge Revolution fan. Matter of fact, I just decluttered a Revolution palette, but they are very hit or miss. This is a hit. This was such a great formula. But when they released this, I bought it for packaging because I love Batman. The formula is what has kept it in my collection. I have other things that I've bought for packaging only that are up on my memory shelf now because the formula just wasn't there for me. This has a great formula. These shimmers, again, they are beautiful shimmers. And I just had this in my deck of panning for, I believe, 5 uses. I wish, with some palettes, I wish I would have kept track with the amount of uses from the beginning. I don't have time for that. I am envious of the people that have kept track of every use that their palette has had. I don't know, but you can see the big dips in those shimmers. But this is a palette that I definitely revisit quite often. The next one, very affordable palette. This is the LA Girl Nudes, and this is the Warm. There are different color stories in this kind of packaging. They are still available on the Ulta website, and I got this in a giveaway from Donna, and I had never used an LA Girl palette before. And LA Girl has a great formula, especially for how affordable they are. They have a great formula. Look at those shimmers. Very wet looking. The mattes are very blendable. They're pigmented. Like absolutely no problem with this palette whatsoever. And yeah, this is something that I definitely use more throughout the summer. These warm neutral palettes are definitely summer staples for me. So this is something that I will, right now I have a different LA Girl warm neutral palette in here. That's why I have this in for summer and not this, because this I've used quite a bit. This I had not used at all. So this is in all summer. Next up, I have the Sigma Ambiance palette. And when I think of this, I think of cool neutrals, and then I open it up and then it surprises me every time because they aren't cool. They're warm. I bought this on Poshmark. Another creator was selling it on Poshmark. This is a palette that had been on my list. And when I got it, it was virtually untouched. And I have used it so many times, and it is so very pretty. Again, very metallic shimmers. And I am so happy that I was able to get this. I got this and the Quarter Rosa at the same time. I have decluttered the Quarter Rosa and sent that to a good friend of mine that really wanted it, and I wasn't using it. This one I knew would be a staple. The Quarter Rosa was just something that I wanted because I wasn't going to buy the Natasha Denona Bloom palette, and I got the Quarter Rosa for like $15. So I would much rather keep this one because I know I'm going to use it. Next up is the Natasha Denona I Need a Warm. I got this from some friends for my birthday last year. And again, just a beautiful warm palette. It's very warm, it's very summery, it's very coppery. And there are some repetitive shades in here. Like I think this brown and this brown are very, very similar on the eye. Also this brown, which it looks a lot warmer, but these two shades on the actual eye are very similar. But it's still a beautiful formula, and it's still one of my top 20 neutral palettes. Another one from Natasha Denona. It's very shiny, so I'm going to wipe it off on my jeans. This is the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. And this is a beautiful summer palette. And this is going to be in all summer long. I have used it a couple of times so far this summer, and I just get that beautiful copper, bronzy, just warm summer look. I just love this palette. I got this on the Ipsy Drop Shop for like $25. Another Alter Ego palette. This is the Mirage. This is one palette that I got in PR. The other ones I bought myself. But this is a dupe for the Huda Huda Empower. Why does that not sound right? The Huda Empowered palette, which I actually owned that palette. I bought that palette full price when it came out because of the beautiful warm neutrals in it. I used it 3 times. I did not like it. I returned it. Within like 6 months, I got this from Alter Ego, and I love this palette. So it's weird that I didn't like the Huda, but I do love the Mirage. Again, beautiful, beautiful shimmers. Love them. I have used both of these cream shadows. I don't like cream shadows. I'm just not a fan. But the rest of this palette is definitely been very well loved. You can tell that. So this is probably coming in July for my Shop My Stash. I didn't want to bring both of these in at the same time because they are very similar. Now, I believe, does Alter Ego have a dupe for this? I can't remember now if they do. I feel like they do. But you can see they're very, very similar. But nobody says that I only need one with that color story. Nobody said that. Speaking of that color story, the ColourPop Smokin' Hot. Another mega palette, which, as I said, those are my favorite ColourPop formulas. Very warm, coppery, bronzy, but you also have like these the dark, dark, deep berries and like wine shade. This is a matte, but love that for summer. And I have, is this one of the ones? Now I can't remember. A few of my mega palettes, I have taken out the glitters and the sequined mattes and replaced them with shades. When I depotted all of my 6, 9, and 12 pan ColourPop palettes, the ones with the smaller pans, I have replaced some shades in a few of my mega palettes because I don't like glitter and I don't like sequined mattes. So I can't remember if this was one of the ones that I did that with. I should have probably wrote that down, but I didn't. But this is also coming in July, probably July or August, for those warm summer looks. I think this is a really great palette for that. I call it sultry summer night look. Sometimes when we go to dinner, we'll go downtown, get all dressed up, and you know, it's nighttime, it's hot, it's sweaty, it's just those sultry summer nights. Those are my favorite nights. I am a summer person. I love the heat, I love the humidity. I don't care that my makeup's falling off my face. I give me more. But this is one of those palettes that reminds me of that. And then finally, my oldest palette that I own, this is the Morphe. This is Nature Glow, but they did change the name to Natural Glow at some point, but this is a 350. And really this could be in with the actual like neutrals, because there are some cool toned shades in here, but this is, to me, this is a summer palette. These shades right here have been used the most. There's one, yeah, that has a pan in it. You can see that. Is that the only one? Yeah, I think that's the only one. But again, this old Morphe formula is one of my favorites. This palette is 7 years old. Not quite, I don't think it's 8 years old, but it is definitely 6 or 7 years old. My daughter bought me this for my birthday one year. Knowing that I love makeup as much as I do, she bought this for me, and I love it. I'll never get rid of this. Even when it's not performing anymore, it'll go on my memory shelf because it was a very thoughtful gift from a very special person. So, you guys, tell me down below, what are your favorite neutral palettes? Are you a cool neutral? Are you a warm neutral? Do you not care? Let me know down below. Let's start a conversation. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. And until our next adventure, everyone have a great day, and we'll see you later.